Today's video was all about what I've done to make things a bit more pleasurable and easy cruising. Some simple items that can make a difference, and I thought I'd share with you. After 12 years of cruising, these are the things that have made a difference. The first invaluable item is a small socket set, which I keep in the nav station so it's easily accessible, and it's great for working with hose clamps or any screws or whatever you can't get access to, and it saves having to turn out the main socket set or go through your toolbox to find anything. It's just there in the nav station, and probably one of the most practical things I've actually got on the boat, and it saves an awful lot of time, and very cheap too. Along with the socket set, I keep a multi-tool at the helm, and also a knife, which saves me having to go down below and find it, or pull it out of a cupboard or whatever. But these three things make a great deal of difference. Saves a lot of time. The next item on the list is dinghy wheels. They are invaluable, particularly if you're cruising in a tidal area, to bring the boat back up onto the beach when you've gone ashore. Whether you've got an inflatable floor dinghy, a set of dinghy wheels saves dragging the rubber bottom over the beach, and if you've got the more popular rib, they're heavy. Particularly with the current trend of having 9.9 or 15 horsepower engines on their back, they can be a task to drag up the beach, especially in shingle. So a set of dinghy wheels can make life a lot simpler and a lot more pleasant and a lot less tiring. I'll show you the ones that I've got. They come in various designs and sizes, but I'll show you mine, and they're very easy to fit, and you can remove the wheels and store them to protect the tyres when you're not out cruising. These are the ones I use. They slide up and down, and you push them down into the water when you want to use them. I think the wheels with the larger diameter are probably better than the smaller wheels, because if you've got soft sand or shingle, the smaller wheels tend to get stuck and cause more drag, whereas the larger wheels appear, in my opinion, to work a lot better and a lot easier, and they can be removed off the dinghy and stored. One of the main issues cruisers face is storage. There's never enough storage on the boat, and one of the items that takes up an awful lot of room below decks or in the aft lockers is sails. So the next idea is to give you back some of that space. So what I've been using is a deck storage bag that's waterproof and can be tied down to the deck. Obviously it can be removed and put below when you leave the boat, but in there I keep a Code Zero cruising chute, which is self-furling, and there's probably enough room in there to get a storm sail, maybe even another sail. Yeah, the bag expands, so it can be used for all sorts of things, but I found this has created a lot more space down below, and from my point of view, getting the Code Zero out and using it is far simpler, having on deck more or less ready to go, rather than trying to pull it out of lockers down below. If you're a cruiser like me, you'll attempt fishing towing a line behind the boat, which is easy. Then it becomes an issue when you catch a fish. I'm not an experienced fisherman, and I'm definitely not an experienced fish filleter because I don't catch very many, but a fishing board mounted to the side rails of the boat makes life a lot easier if you do catch a fish, to clean it out without getting mess everywhere inside the cockpit. It doesn't take up any room, it's easy to use, and it keeps the boat a lot cleaner, and the boat doesn't stink of fish if you are lucky enough to catch one, which in my case is not very often. It's cheaper for me to actually buy fish from the fish market with the amount of lures I've lost over the years. But yeah, a fishing cutting board is definitely a lot easier, and yeah, I'd recommend one. Here's the one I use, or say use infrequently, because I don't catch much fish, and it just swings up on the swivel joints here, and all the debris and blood and blech goes over the side without contaminating the deck. It's actually quite a large one, so I've never caught a fish that's been too big for it. The next practical item is something to do with the shower. I'll just show you. Turn on a light so you can see. Sorry about the echo. And it is this. A soap dispenser. Well, I use it for shampoo, conditioner, which I don't really use, the girlfriend does, and a sanitary hand wash. It saves having soap, shampoo bottles all over the place in the shower, and particularly if you forget to put them away when you go sailing and they're clattering all over the place and then leak all over the floor. But I found this extremely useful, and yeah, it's something that doesn't take up any space, doesn't take up any storage room, but yeah, there you go. If you're sailing in the tropics and want to avoid the bug problem, screens. They might make life a lot more comfortable. Some boats, the more modern ones, come with slide bug screens on all the deck opening hatches, but one of the problem areas is the companionway. So make up a netting for the companionway so that you can allow air flow through the boat, and it'll keep the mosquitoes and no-see-ums and bees, particularly if you're in a dry, dry climate. The bees tend to run out of water in summer and come on boats to try and find water. I'll show you what I did on Milagro as far as the cockpit is concerned. The factory slide-out panels have been replaced with wooden doors that are lockable from inside and out, and they have inbuilt bug screens with a slide-out panel if you want to close it off. Very easy to use, and then I just use netting across the top, so I can get the airflow through the boat. Nothing worse than itching all over from bug bites. The next item, which can prove expensive but invaluable, dinghy davits. It allows you easily to pull the dinghy up at night, keeps the deck space clear. I sail with the dinghy up on the davits and then tied down securely, but you can pull the dinghy up and side tie it to the side of the boat using a halyard, but it's a bit of a pain in the bum, and I think a lot of dinghies and engines are lost because you get lulled into a false sense of security and may leave the dinghy off the back of the boat and wake up in the morning and it's gone. It's either been stolen or you haven't secured it properly. So dinghy davits make it more practical and far easier to secure the dinghy at night, and then when you get to a new location, far easier to get it into the water rather than have to struggle the dinghy off the deck and then take the engine off the engine mount and then mount it all together and pull the fuel tank out and all the other things you've got to do. So I'd highly recommend, if your budget will stretch to it, or if the boat's currently got it, then fine, but a set of dinghy davits make a huge difference. As a single-hander, I go up to the bow to drop the anchor and to raise the anchor with the foot switches, but there are times when the wind's howling, when you want to get the anchor up or you want to put the anchor down and stay in control of the boat. So I spend about $80 buying a standard extension cord, 50 feet, connected it to the solenoid on the windlass, and led the line back to the nav station, to the helm, and I put in a momentary up and down switch, which allows me to lower the anchor and raise the anchor from the cockpit in those situations where you either want to get out of a place quickly, or you're coming in and it's a bit tight and the wind's blowing, and you don't want to leave the helm to drop the anchor because the boat's going to swing in the wind. And it was a very cheap thing. It took a long time to run the cable through, but it's something that you can do very easily, and it's pretty straightforward to achieve a bit more safety and take some of the hassle out of anchoring in strong conditions. Here's a picture of the anchor up and down switch. Very straightforward, and it saved me a few times actually. I came into one anchorage at, well, I think it's about 12 o'clock at night. I mistimed my arrival, and as soon as I got into the anchorage, the wind changed from 12 knots to 35 knots, and I just wanted to get the anchor down without actually leaving the helm. The other thing I've covered in previous videos, but it's worth mentioning again here, is a self-made hooker. It allows me to clean the bottom of the boat when I'm at anchor. You can do that with a snorkel and mask, but unless you can hold your breath for a long time, it becomes a bit of a chore. So I put together a hooker, and it allows me to clean the bottom quite easily, breathing underwater. And I've even used it to clean the bottom of the boat in marinas, and I think if you clean your own bottom in the marinas 3 times, the whole setup is paid for. It can also be used to clear any fouling of the prop if you go over a fishing line. It's a lot safer and more practical to do it that way, and the setup is very easy. All I did was buy a second stage regulator off of eBay for $25. I went to Home Depot and I paid, I believe, $150 for an oilless air compressor, and I bought 50 feet of high pressure hose which came with all the connections. So I think the whole thing probably cost me $225, $230. And yeah, 3 bottom cleans in the marina and it's paid for. Obviously you've got to store the compressor. Mine's only a 2 gallon, so it's not too big, it's not heavy. It can run off the inverter if you've got a 2000 watt inverter, or you can run it off of a Honda generator, which unfortunately I had on the boat when I bought it. But that's makes cleaning the bottom a bit more fun. You still get covered in bugs and weed and crap from the bottom, but you're not coming up for air all the time, and it is by far the quickest way of doing it. This little contraption here makes a lot of difference when you're washing your clothes, especially to get some of the stubborn stains out of t-shirts and shorts. It's not very big, it doesn't take up very much room. It was actually my girlfriend's idea, and I use it a lot, and she uses it a lot. Very easy, and yeah, it's something that you can pick up locally in most places. Last but not least, and it's a real game changer for cruising, I've had mine now for 18 months. I bought it in Mexico. It's far cheaper here than the US or Canada, and it keeps me in contact with all my family and friends, allows me to update YouTube. It's Starlink. It really is a no-brainer. It's such a simple thing to install. It really is plug and play. There's a video early in my series that covers that, but in Mexico it's about $55 a month for unlimited use and high bandwidth, and it's worked everywhere. Keeps me in contact. I can download movies, I can watch movies, I can do the weather, everything I need to do I can do via Starlink, and so far it has been absolutely problem free. So there it is. That's the tips that I have for making your life a bit more comfortable whilst cruising, taking some of the stress and strain out of it. And I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe pick up on some of the ideas. If you've got any more ideas you'd like to suggest, I can always do another video, so please put them in the comments. And thank you for your time for watching the video. If you want to subscribe, you don't have to, and I appreciate all the support I've been given over the last couple of years. Thank you.